Rachel Kirkconnell went on Call Her Daddy last night to talk about her and Matt James' breakup. So let's talk about it because there's a lot to say. This interview was literally the perfect example of why I tell women, number one, men will wake up and change their mind. Number two, always put yourself first. And lastly, until his actions match his words and he marries you, he's not 100% sure about you. So I felt kind of bad for her because she would talk about like how she was really insecure being with Matt, being that like at the very beginning of their relationship, you know, he picked her. Like he picked her out of 40 girls, and I can like resonate with how she would feel. Like you go on this show, there's all these beautiful women, you were literally the most basic girl yesterday, then this guy picks you, you start living this whirlwind romance. It's kind of like a why me mentality, and I don't think she ever really coped with that, and she felt secure as to what value she brought to Matt. She also talked about like she felt like when they would go in a room, everyone loves Matt. Like, hey Matt, oh my god, oh hi Rachel. You know, she was very much like a sidebar, like in his shadow. She made it seem like in the relationship, like Matt was the star of the movie and she was just like the background noise. And she just really felt small next to him. Because she kind of carried that why me, like why did you pick me mentality, she was like almost like overextensive of like showing Matt that she appreciated him, and she felt like she owed him a higher level of support in their relationship. So she spoke more about like the breakup in Tokoyo and how Matt's career is like content creation. So if she was like in charge of picking the place for them to eat so they could film them eating. I don't know if you guys look at their Instagram, but they do a lot of like eating foodie content. And in my head, I'm thinking like, do they split the divvies on like profits because views equal money? And I'm just thinking like, I bet Matt is not. Like, I bet she's just happy to be there and happy to serve him and be a part of the movie. Like, but I don't know how two content creators in a relationship figure that out. So long story short, they broke up because she was in charge of picking the food place, and I guess it wasn't good, and she got really upset, really bent out of shape about it, got emotional about it. Matt's like, what's wrong with you, blah blah blah. And so she said that like he was upset that she was upset. Like he was just kind of like, it's not that big of a deal, like why are you getting so like bent out of shape? So I think Matt started to view her very like emotionally weak. Like he said, I think there was just a buildup of like he was seeing that she lacked a certain confidence and backbone that he would want in a girl. Like, he was kind of like, well, how are you gonna act if something serious happens in life? Are you just like gonna fold, break down? You know, I can't really see you as the mother of my kids, going on and on and on. And at the Tokoyo trip, Matt ends up breaking up with her. She gets back on the plane to go back home. And while she's on the plane, he posts the breakup post on Instagram. It's funny, men will break up with you for the same reason that they love you. Think about that. So Matt, you could tell like they're yin and yang. Like he's more lively, she's more calm. I think he really liked Rachel because she was so calm, like probably made him feel at ease, submissive, willing to little bend over backwards. I think that's something you cultivate as you grow up and go through growing pains, like getting stronger, having more of a backbone, having more confidence. And I think she just lacked a lot of that, and Matt was starting to see it, and it was just wearing on him over time. And honestly, I'm going to say this, and it might be weird to some people, but him posting that was probably the best thing that could have happened to her. And Alexcooper even agreed, like, if he didn't post that, like, you would probably go back to him because there wasn't, like, an explosive thing that happened, like, someone cheated. It was kind of like a petty argument that turned a lot bigger. But I think for Matt, it was like a build-up just to the means to the end. He just wanted to cut the snake at the head. But like if he didn't post that and publicly really break up with her, I feel like she would have went back to him. And the way she described the treatment that Matt was giving her throughout the relationship, it's for her best interest that she doesn't. She moves on. One thing we all hated that Matt would do was we would see him post online hyping up this imaginary engagement to come that never happened just for him to end this relationship. So in that sense, I feel like he led her on, and that's messed up. But this goes back to like making your intentions known with men, and I think towards the end she did, but that's when he started to question like, do I really want to be with her? I do think Matt profited off Rachel's likeness. That had to be a factor that played into why he probably held on to this relationship for so long, because they were definitely making money together. Now she talks about just recovering a piece of herself that she lost when she was in a relationship with Matt, and honestly that's just the moral of the story, ladies. Like, don't lose yourself over a guy. Like, cannot stress that enough. Like, you have got to have your own mojo going on. You have got to be the best version of yourself to really attract the partner that's going to bring the best out of you. Going into a relationship carrying all these insecurities and what ifs and does he really like me, like that's just like a recipe for eventually disaster. I was hard on her in my YouTube tea that I did the other day, but like honestly, she's just a girl and she's just like all of us, and I really appreciate her being super honest and vulnerable because I know she's like so depressed right now. Like she pretty much was talking about how she's trying to break the soul tie from Matt, and that is hard. If anyone understands what a soul tie is, that is really hard to do. So I think there's a lot to learn here though, ladies. Put yourself first, as men always will. God works in mysterious ways though, and she will be okay, and I guarantee the next guy that she gets with, he's gonna marry her in a heartbeat.